It started the summer I turned 17, the summer that made me question every quiet corner of my small town in Pennsylvania. At first, the town seemed normal enough, the kind of place where everyone knew everyone, and nothing much happened outside the usual. Kids sneaking into abandoned houses or the occasional forest fire, scaring off wildlife. But that summer things changed. It began with the Hawkins house, the old Victorian at the edge of Maple Street. The house had been abandoned for years. Neighbors whispered about the family that had vanished decades ago, and kids dared each other to touch the peeling gates or peer through the dusty windows. I didn't believe in ghosts, not really. I believed in stories, the kind told by parents to scare children into behaving. But the Hawkins house, it was different. It was my friend Nate who first mentioned it. We were riding our bikes late one evening, the sun dripping its last orange streaks across the horizon, when he said, "You ever notice how quiet it gets near Hawkins' house?" I shrugged, thinking he was just looking for a thrill. But then I felt it, the sudden drop in temperature, the kind that makes your skin prickle like static electricity. The air near that house felt wrong. It smelled faintly of wet wood and something metallic. The first time I went inside, it was Nate, me, and our other friend, Claire. The front door groaned like it hadn't been touched in a century as we pushed it open. The air inside was thick with dust and rot, and the faint light from the sunset barely reached the far corners. The place smelled like old earth and something fouler, a smell I couldn't place but never forgot. The floorboards creaked under our weight, echoing down the empty hallways like whispers. Nate dared me to go up to the second floor. I laughed, pretending I wasn't terrified. Upstairs, the walls were lined with faded wallpaper patterned with flowers so intricately drawn it almost felt alive. There were doors, several of them, all closed. We tried them one by one. Most were locked or jammed. But the last door at the end of the hall, it opened. Inside, a single bedroom, everything coated in a thick layer of dust, and on the bed, perfectly folded sheets, as if someone had just left. It didn't make sense. How could anyone live here? And then I saw the mirror. It wasn't large, just a normal bedroom mirror framed in dark wood, but the reflection was wrong. At first I thought it was the poor lighting, maybe the angle, but then I saw Nate and Claire behind me, standing frozen, their faces pale. I blinked. They weren't moving. My reflection moved, but theirs didn't. And then the air shifted. The room became colder, the kind of cold that bites into your bones. A whisper came, soft at first, barely audible, but unmistakable. "Leave." We bolted. I don't remember the ride home. All I remember was the feeling that something had followed us, that something had watched us and now wanted more. Over the next week, strange things happened. My bedroom door would be open when I knew I had closed it. I'd hear footsteps in the hallway, slow, deliberate, and every night, in the corner of my vision, I saw shadows moving just outside my window, even though the streetlight was off. I tried to ignore it, but it gnawed at me. Then came the letters. No one else received them, just me. White envelopes with no return address, no name. Inside, a single line written in messy, looping handwriting. "You saw us." I didn't tell anyone. Who would believe me? Nate said he felt fine. Claire said nothing happened to her. But I knew. I knew the Hawkins house had marked me. And it wasn't done. The nights grew worse. I'd wake to find objects in my room moved, pictures crooked, my books opened to pages I didn't remember leaving open, and always the whispering. Sometimes it was a voice, sometimes many voices overlapping. Impossible to distinguish, but always saying the same thing. Come back. I wanted to, part of me did. But the rest of me knew that if I did, I wouldn't come back. One evening I followed the shadows. I didn't take my bike, I walked. The streets were silent, the sky deepening into black. The Hawkins house loomed ahead, more sinister than ever. The air was thick, suffocating, and I could hear the whispers growing louder. I shouldn't have gone in, but curiosity, foolish and dangerous, pushed me forward. The front door opened before I touched it, as if expecting me. Inside, the house was different. The wallpaper had changed. The flowers were no longer flowers. They were faces. Hundreds of tiny faces screaming silently. The stairs groaned under my feet, the hallway stretching farther than it should have. At the end of the hall was a door, just like before. I opened it and the room was empty except for the mirror. This time my reflection didn't move. I reached out, my hand trembling, and touched the glass. The surface rippled like water and I was sucked in. I fell through darkness, tumbling, falling, until I landed in a place that wasn't a room, wasn't a house, wasn't anywhere I recognized. It was a void, black and endless. Shadows swirled around me, whispering, clawing. Shapes formed from the darkness, faces, hands, things that shouldn't exist. They circled me, their voices a cacophony. "You belong here," they said. I ran, or tried to, though the void had no ground, no walls. My feet never touched anything. And then I heard it, my own voice, distorted, screaming my name. I turned and saw myself, or what I had become, trapped in a cage of shadow. The reflection in the mirror had been a warning, not just a trick. I woke up in my room. Morning light streamed through the window. Everything seemed normal. The letters had stopped. The shadows were gone, but I knew it wasn't over. I knew I had been marked. And sometimes, late at night, I still hear the whispers. Sometimes I see the faces in the mirror, pressing closer, waiting. And I know one day the Hawkins house will call me back, and when it does, I won't be able to resist. From that summer on, I avoided Maple Street. I didn't talk about the Hawkins house. I didn't talk about what I saw. But every night I dream of it. Every night the whispers return, and I know deep down that the house is patient. It waits. And I have no doubt that one day it will have me entirely.